Tonight, what makes a good neighbor? Frontline agencies and the potential clause City Hall could impose. Plus, labor peace at the post office, but is the tentative agreement only a short-term solution?
In the longer term, it doesn't solve the underlying structural problems.
And dead crows in Chatham-Kent.
I don't like that I don't have answers.
Several birds affected. What killed them? A mystery.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a developing story in northwest London where police say they're investigating a pedestrian who was hit in a grocery store parking lot and died. This was the scene at the Farm Boy location near Wonderland in Beaverbrook. Police say it happened around 3 p.m. The pedestrian was taken to hospital, but she did not survive. According to police, the driver who hit the woman remained at the scene. They're also asking any witnesses or anyone with dash cam footage from the area to contact them. It's been a week since City Council considered adding a good neighbor clause to future contracts with frontline homelessness agencies. Since then, new questions have come up about the impact on the people relying on those services and whether the good neighbor requirement should go both ways. Daryl Newcomb reports.
At First St. Andrew's United Church, Council's proposal to add a good neighbor clause to contracts that fund frontline homelessness agencies raises a fundamental question. Should it just apply to the agencies or also the community?
Neighborliness goes both ways. However, I can't really control the neighbor you're going to be to me. All I can do personally is be the best neighbor I can to you.
Last week, Council referred a new procurement framework back to staff so that a potential good neighbor clause could be considered for addition to contracts that fund homelessness agencies. However, details like its scope, enforcement, and consequences remain vague.
I hope we get a chance to engage. I have not as of yet.
Sarah Campbell at Arcade Street Mission says she wants a healthy community in the Old East Village, but that means neighbors being neighborly to each other.
It's so important that we understand what this means and make sure that the intended purpose is actually to make a healthier, more holistic community and not one that segregates or keeps people away from the services they need.
I think it's always important that we not put the blame on somebody else or tell them to be a good neighbor, but try to imagine ways we can be good neighbors.
City staff will draft a good neighbor clause for council consideration early in the new year. In the meantime, the agencies that serve the 2,200 Londoners currently experiencing homelessness say there's another way we can all show that we're a good neighbor. At First St. Andrew's, giving is a year-round activity, but Christmas coincides with the need for winter essentials.
Mittens, hats, warm clothes, for those of us that have the ability to do so.
Arcade Street Mission has a week remaining to fund 30 overnight beds inside 696 Dundas Street, a life-saving and life-changing program that relies solely on donations.
We're $100,000 away, so giving financially does make a difference. It provides staffing, it provides resources, it keeps the lights on, but also the in-kind donations, coats, boots, as you're getting your new things in, cell phone chargers and new phones for people, things like that can be donated in kind to these organizations all across the city.
Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A student residence is under construction in Windsor, which school officials say is Canada's first ever multi-story 3D printed home. With more on the technology and the potential impact on the housing market, here's Michelle Molesky.
One layer at a time, the University of Windsor is adding to the city's housing stock.
We are standing in front of one of Canada's first large-scale, multi-story 3D printed residence projects.
Charlie Simpkins says the building will be good for the environment.
With traditional stick or wood-style lumber construction, there is a little bit of waste that occurs. In 3D printed construction, a lot of that waste is reduced.
Once complete, it will have net zero emissions.
The expectation is that the project will complete in 2026.
It will house up to 25 students in one of 7 apartment units.
We are still working through some grant funding opportunities.
Simpkins says they don't have a final cost for the project, but it has been kickstarted by a $2 million boost from FedDev Ontario.
This is a research project as much as it is a construction project.
So what better opportunity the student and I and everyone can get other than this?
Shrikanta Das's graduate students are testing the technology to make sure it's safe.
Each layer roughly about, also not quite 1 inch, is roughly about 35-40 millimeter high.
And they're going to place sensors inside the concrete to test emissions over the long term.
As the building builds up and stays under load, as well as I'm working with other group to monitor the air quality pollutants once the building is done.
Not only is this project training the next generation of engineers, Das believes it's a good way to work around the current skilled labor shortage, as not enough young people are joining the building trades.
They like to more computer tech type of job. So this gives an opportunity for the younger generation to get into using the technology of construction and building, but using the more digital and tech technology to build the home.
The early start to winter has delayed concrete pouring until it warms up in 2026. Das and Semkins both believe, however, the project is on schedule to be available to university students, preferably by the fall semester. On California Avenue, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Provincial police say they've charged a London man accused of operating an unlicensed cannabis store, which has been targeted in a pair of shootings within a 12-month span. According to police, officers responded to Indie Exotics near Dundas in Wellington back in November, where one person was taken to hospital with a gunshot wound. OPP say they worked with London police searching the building, seizing illegal cannabis products with an estimated value of $4,300. Police say a 44-year-old man from London has been arrested and charged. The same shop was shot up back in November 2024. No injuries were reported in that incident. Canadian border agents have released numbers for drug and weapon seizures this year at 2 border crossings in our region. Agents say they seized more than 1,300 kilograms of cocaine at Sarnia's Blue Water Bridge and nearly 350 kilograms of methamphetamine between January 1st and October 31st this year. In Windsor, agents say they seized 150 guns and more than 800 other prohibited weapons from people trying to enter Canada. Border agents also reported nearly 750,000 pounds of illegal tobacco seized at all Canadian border crossings, as well as $1.6 million in cash. Tensions between American and Venezuelan officials are mounting over access to the South American country's oil resources. U.S. authorities have already seized 2 oil tankers and are after a third. As Jeremy Sherrill reports, the simmering conflict could have implications for Canada.
Off the coast of Venezuela, sanctioned oil tankers have become the target of U.S. authorities. 2 have been intercepted and seized already, along with millions of barrels of oil, and Washington says it's after more.
Maybe we'll sell it, maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also.
The U.S. has increased its military presence in the Caribbean Sea. Trump ordered a blockade last week, calling it the biggest armada the U.S. has ever had in South America. Today, Venezuelans hit the streets in protest of the U.S. president they call Pirate Trump, who Monday had this warning for Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
Meanwhile, the tension could have implications for Canada.
Venezuela has some of the largest oil reserves in the world. They're primarily heavy oil and bitumen, which are very much like what Canada's reserves are here in Alberta in the oil sands.
Political instability in Venezuela has given Canadian oil producers the advantage, but if that changes, it could mean increased competition.
This makes it all the more important for us to think about sending our oil again to the Pacific, to a Northwest Pacific pipeline, knowing that the Asian market is growing.
Trump's interest in Venezuelan oil could eventually force a fight for access to the U.S. market. But the question is,
how long would it take to build the projects that could start to displace Western Canadian oil? And I think that would take a long time.
That means time is in Canada's favor. And in the short term, it could actually increase demand for Canadian heavy crude. But it could also lead to uncertainty and price volatility in the market. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada Post and the union representing postal workers have announced a tentative agreement potentially bringing an end to a lengthy labor dispute. A ratification vote won't happen until the new year, but as Scott Hurst reports, even if the deal is accepted, many questions will remain over the Crown Corporation's future.
Labor unrest between Canada Post and its union representing 55,000 postal workers and uncertainty about the future forced this Toronto small business to make a choice.
We had to go a different route this holiday season.
Retailer Province of Canada ships clothing across the country, and by turning away from Canada Post, is now relying on multiple carriers to fill the gap.
After last year's strike and then this September, we just didn't feel we had the confidence to go into the holiday season with them again.
But a tentative deal between Canada Post and the Canadian Union of Postal Workers announced on Monday may at least provide some stability.
So on the one hand, short run, good news. In the longer term, it doesn't solve the underlying structural problems.
Canada Post said the agreements include a 6.5% wage increase in year one, a 3% hike in year two, and increases matching inflation in years 3 through 5. They also include enhanced benefits and a weekend parcel delivery model, which had been a key sticking point in negotiations.
They are still bleeding. They are hemorrhaging incredible amounts of money. So they're a long way away from where they have to be. They've got a huge job ahead to become more dynamic and productive and competitive.
And maybe that will be enough to win back at least this Toronto business.
I think until this gets fully sorted out properly, then we can maybe reconsider going back to them for next year.
CUPW's national board is recommending its members accept the deals. Ratification votes are set to take place early next year. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
A proposed referendum question on Alberta separating from Canada has been approved.
Those who are enthusiastic about separation will be organized and motivated to do this. Hard to know in advance whether they can get the requisite number of signatures. It is a fairly high bar.
The question asks, do you agree that the province of Alberta should cease to be a part of Canada and become an independent state? The applicants have until early January to appoint a financial officer for a petition campaign, then another 4 months to collect nearly 180,000 signatures. And if that happens, the question will be put to Albertans in a referendum. Wildlife authorities are investigating what killed several crows in Chatham-Kent. Right now, the leading theory is avian flu, but that's not confirmed. With more on the prevailing theories, here's Travis Fortnum.
It was very upsetting and like a traumatic scene.
When Vanessa Skipper was visiting family in Chatham over the weekend, she never expected a simple drive through town would turn into something so disturbing.
So we cried a little bit, got back in the truck.
She and her partner came across dead crows scattered across a lawn off Grand Avenue with no obvious signs of what killed them.
I don't like that I don't have answers. I just feel uncomfortable.
Skipper shared the photos of the scene on social media where many others said they were disturbed by what they saw. But provincial officials say crow die-offs in Chatham-Kent are not rare, particularly given the large winter roosting population in the area. In a statement to CTV News, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry saying large crow populations in the Chatham area make die-offs relatively common. The cause, in this case, is not yet known. So, could this be avian influenza? The ministry confirms it's working with the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative and that samples from the dead crows are now being tested. A spokesperson for the CWHC's Ontario and Nunavut regions says results could be available as early as Wednesday, adding that most crow die-offs in Chatham are, quote, secondary to either an infection with avian influenza virus or avian reovirus infections. Online, some have wondered if the cold snap is to blame, but the CWHC says a direct link to cold weather alone is unlikely, noting that while low temperatures can help viruses spread, they do not typically cause mass deaths on their own.
There's a risk, but the risk to human in our region is very low at this time.
The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit says people don't need to panic, but they should be careful around dead or sick wildlife, especially when it comes to pets and children. If you find a dead bird on your property, officials say to wear gloves and a mask, use a shovel to pick it up, and either bury it it or double bag it for the garbage. And if the bird is on public property, the advice is to contact your municipality. Travis Fortnam, CTV News.
The price of some alcohol products could rise in the new year. Convenience stores, bars and restaurants have all been getting a special 15% discount rate, part of the provincial government's plan to expand alcohol sales across Ontario. That will drop to 10% in the new year, though. A cost increase retail experts suggest will likely get passed on to the customer. Meanwhile, many are passing on the opportunity to booze it up for the holidays with increasing interest in non-alcoholic options. It's becoming so popular, especially with dry January around the corner. Entire businesses are now catering to the market. Lauren Stallone reports.
With the new year right around the corner, Amber Wisniewski says more Canadians are choosing to swap cocktails for mocktails.
November and December leading up to the holidays are very busy, and then definitely see a surge in January where people are looking to cut back and just see what it's like to remove alcohol from their life for a month.
It's called Dry January, a rising trend where people choose to stop drinking alcohol for the month of January and embrace a more sober lifestyle.
Dry January certainly came of age because of the power of social media, and it's easy to assume that it probably would not have become as big, pervasive, or successful as it is without this technology.
For Wisniewski, the global phenomenon sparked a business idea, eventually leading her to open a non-alcoholic bottle shop.
I was looking for sophisticated non-alcoholic options for myself, and then I discovered a whole range available, but weren't easily accessible here in Canada, basically. So I started sourcing them, and now I'm importing and searching for new options all the time.
Wisniewski says as customers prepare for the month of January, she often sees about a third more in sales.
It starts to ramp up. People want options.
Technology analyst Carmi Levy says as the trend continues to grow, we can expect to see more businesses jump on the bandwagon.
That's how marketing operates, is there are trends that become very quickly evident in social media, and if you're a smart business, you leap on those opportunities and you go after those markets.
While Statistics Canada doesn't track Dry January specifically, the latest findings released in 2025 show younger adults aged 18 to 24 were more likely to reduce alcohol intake.
There's a subset of social media users who have chosen to use that technology for good, to consume less alcohol, encourage others to do so, to lead a more healthy lifestyle.
For some, it's a short-term challenge. For others, a longer-term shift. But Dry January is giving Canadians a chance to start the year with a different kind of reset. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Good evening, folks. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Instead of a snow warning or advisory, this gray or blanket of across parts of southern Ontario stretching north and east is for a wind advisory. This special weather statement talking about wind gusts in that area of 70 to 80 km tonight, dissipating through the early morning. Meanwhile, northwesterlies keeping us quiet, blustery rather, but we're mild, and it looks like we'll stay that way for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'll talk about rain coming for the last weekend of the year just ahead. Carlyle.
Thanks very much, Gary. When we come back, a real disaster amplified by AI, the misinformation spreading online about a snowstorm pileup. Plus, the latest batch of Epstein files released. We'll read between the redacted lines, breaking down what they can tell us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
It's time to build a toy mountain. Make this holiday season merry for so many kids. Bring new unwrapped toys to CF Masonville Place.
All in support of the Salvation Army.
We will be collecting donations November 21st to December 24th.
With all donations helping families right here in our community. Toy Mountain, supported by Gomez Appliances, London Bass Center, and UBC Built Local 1946.
Let's make this the best Toy Mountain ever. Visit ctvlondon.ca for more ways to donate.
Winter weather was blamed for a massive highway pileup in Alberta last week. The carnage was shared online through social media posts. However, some of those images were actually AI generated. And with more on the misinformation, here's Kathy Lee.
Last week's snowstorm transformed the QE2 highway near Calgary into a ribbon of chaos. The story gained traction on social media.
I heard that it was like 80 to 100 cars.
Officials confirm this fact is true. There were up to 100 vehicles in the massive pileup. What's not are these images, generated by AI and shared widely online, many thinking they were authentic.
We're in a sort of epistemic shift, a shift in the way we determine what is true and what isn't.
But sometimes it can be difficult to spot the fake.
I think it's not real.
I'm going to go for real just to be different.
It's fake because I've been on the Queen too, and there's a space between the two highways.
A closer look shows that space is missing in the images. Others have also pointed out the license plates are off and the text on the green sign is wrong.
These generative AIs have all sorts of wrinkles to them.
Even more embellished, these AI images of the crash. All the deep fakes making some question the validity of the incident entirely. And another issue with a rise in AI images, a phenomenon called liar's dividend.
Even when media is true, it can be dismissed as fake because everyone now expects the environment to just be flooded with deep fakes.
I think it's only going to get better at fooling people as time goes on.
Which means in this age of AI,
you just got to be careful where the images are coming from.
Seeing is no longer believing, and verifying what's real has never been more important. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Gary Archibald with me tonight. And Gary, we've seen our fair share of some intense snowfall as we made our way through December. And as I mentioned yesterday, a bit surprising now as we look ahead to Christmas Day, and the chance of seeing grass is only getting higher.
You're right about that. Whether or not the lawnmower is in store instead of the shovel. A couple of things to point out. It is windy tonight. Temperatures are up. It's been above seasonal. Case in point today. Obviously, we don't need the lawnmower, but we get the idea. Yes, we're seeing a lot of green, a lot of snow and ice melt of late. Reached a high that was 5 degrees above the seasonal average for today. +4 the norm. -1. And temperatures still above the freezing mark on this map, showing you some major locales across much of southern Ontario. We've seen some sunshine through the midday and afternoon. Special weather statement that I talked about earlier still implies that those northwesterlies will persist right now through early tomorrow morning, pre-dawn. Some areas just north of London, Wellesley area, Dundalk, could see 70 to 80 km in terms of the gusts. Sustained winds in the 45 to 55 range. Wind chill, what it feels like, well, a bit colder than the ambient temperatures that we are recording at our weather stations throughout the region, but not bitterly cold. Bitterly cold temperatures are more in tune with what's taking place across the territories to the northern latitudes and certainly across the prairie provinces. We are in the green zone. Temperature-wise, according to the temperature map, above the freezing mark, and in the green zone because those mild temperatures have led to persistent snow and ice melt for the last 4, almost 5 days straight. So a green Christmas, more than likely for the great city of London and surrounding effects. I think that Christmas Day will be a couple of degrees above the freezing mark. The only caveat to the story over the next 3 days is some rain, potentially for Boxing Day. Might even see some freezing rain, ice pellets as we head towards the last weekend of 2025. And let's take a look at that right now. The 7-day forecast, highs and lows anticipated. And look at this, sunshine to boot, to go along with the grass and all that mud, too. It's been wet of late, obviously, with the snow and ice melt. +2, +3, and then 1, 3, 4 before we get into the minuses. And then some next week. A week from now, we'll see some flurries, maybe even a snowstorm Tuesday into Wednesday. And notice Boxing Day, +1, freezing rain and issue Friday into Saturday, and that's true for the Midwest. For Christmas Eve, up to 4 degrees after early morning pre-dawn showers, about a 70% chance of that, and then a very high probability of seeing sunshine through the afternoon. Christmas Day, Merry Christmas to you all. Looks like a fair weather day. 0 degrees would be seasonal for this time of the year, and then Boxing Day, trying to grab up the goods at discounted prices. 2 degrees the high, -3 the low, and freezing rain a risk. That is the story for the weekend, Friday into Saturday. And the first day of the week technically is Sunday, so it begins with some showers, and then it gets colder by Tuesday with temperatures taking a nosedive to more winter season, and we are in that season like values.
Thanks very much, Gary. Still to come, lawsuit dismissed. Why a Saskatchewan judge found no legal basis to proceed with a case filed by families of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. A warning for parents who may have purchased squishy fidget toys for their kids' stockings this year. A recent investigation has found some of the toys can break open, leaking potentially hazardous liquids. With more, here's Pat Foran.
Loved by kids, these bright, colorful squishy balls are often marketed as calming sensory tools, but there is a troubling trend. Hundreds of one-star reviews on Amazon saying the toys popped within an hour or broke within 2 hours of playing with it. The sticky gel from some toys left kids with red, irritated, or peeling skin. Reports on the website saferproducts.gov claim children suffered severe skin irritation after their squishy toys burst open.
Breakage alone is a concern, but when we saw reports of kids with red or peeling skin and even chemical burn-like injuries, that really raised serious questions, and it made us want to take a look at what's inside of these.
Companies don't have to list the ingredients of what's inside these squishy toys. Consumer Reports tested some of them to learn more about what they're made of.
Scientists bought 8 squishy gel toys, broke them open, and tested the pH of the gel inside. 7 had a neutral pH. One of them, the Nido Groovy Glob, had a pH level of 2, which is as acidic as lemon juice or vinegar.
That level of acidity could pose a risk of chemical burns, especially on children's delicate skin. Schilling, the maker of Nido, challenged the findings and said the inner gel is made of polyvinyl alcohol, which is safe for skin contact. The company said after selling 100 million Nido toys, there have only been 4 reports of incidents to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. TikTok trends have been encouraging people to microwave squishy toys to make them softer. Don't do that. Testers found some toys exploded after just 15 seconds, reaching temperatures above 200 degrees, which could cause instant burns.
Never microwave or freeze them. Don't leave them in the car. Don't give gel-filled toys to babies or toddlers.
And if one does break on your child's skin, wash it off right away and throw the toy out. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A segment from the CBS News program 60 Minutes briefly circulated online yesterday under a Canadian broadcaster's branding. However, it was a segment that was not supposed to air. Various media reports indicate the program was uploaded to Stack TV, part of Global TV's streaming platform. The segment focuses on White House deportation policies, and it's no longer available to stream. However, part of the segment was uploaded to social media platforms and is now circulating widely. Canada's real gross domestic product dropped 0.3% in October, primarily due to slowdowns in manufacturing. According to Stats Canada, manufacturing output was down 1.5% for the month. Agency officials say the oil, gas, and mining sectors shrank, offsetting gains made in September. They say it looks like there was a small GDP increase in November, led by educational, construction, and transportation sectors. Stocks rose for a fourth straight session today in the midst of a shortened holiday trading week. In Toronto, the TSX added 45 points. In New York, the Dow climbed 102. The Nasdaq gained 113. The Canadian dollar up, trading at about 73 cents U.S. On commodities, gold climbed about $35 an ounce. Oil up 35 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, paying it forward, the Lotto jackpot winner turning her big payday into an opportunity to share the wealth.
On the next episode of the Backroads podcast, we sit down with Patrick Armstrong, the Huron County-based co-founder of Huron Area Search and Rescue and the Dave Mounsey Memorial Fund.
Backroads with Scott Miller, available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. A Saskatchewan judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by a group of families impacted by the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. Back in 2018, a transport truck driver blew through a stop sign, crashing into the team's bus, killing 16 people and injuring 13 others. In the aftermath, parents of 5 of the victims launched a lawsuit against the truck driver, along with other defendants, including the Saskatchewan government, arguing negligence. A judge has now ruled the lawsuit cannot proceed, saying the allegations have no legal basis. Doctors at an Ottawa hospital say they've recently carried out one of their most complex surgeries ever. They were treating a painful condition, endometriosis, which, as Leah LaRocque reports, can often go misdiagnosed in women.
And then I'll tighten the strap at the end once you get it kind of fitting on your head.
For the first time, Danica Fleury is getting a glimpse into just how complicated her surgery was.
What I had to do was peel that red stuff, which is endometriosis, deep endometriosis, off the actual nerve.
It's a virtual reality look at one of the most complex pelvic surgeries ever performed at the Ottawa Hospital.
I'm almost emotional just to see everything and just knowing how much better I feel now. It's like, wow.
For more than a decade, Fleury suffered from endometriosis, a chronic condition where tissue grows outside the uterus in the pelvic area.
It can impact the kidney system and actually cause damage that is lifelong. And we've managed it all the way up to the liver and the diaphragm.
At just 30, Fleury was diagnosed with breast cancer, but the pain in her pelvic area and nerves kept getting worse.
Hi, I'm here for my appointment.
Dr. Soni Singh at the Ottawa Hospital performing the intricate surgery in September using this technology.
And so the technology was developed here in Ottawa. It's a startup from the Ottawa Hospital.
In order to remove the tissue, Singh needed to move organs while maintaining blood supply. It lasted 4 hours.
I was definitely nervous and I knew there were a lot of risks going into it, but I had no other choice. I couldn't live the way that I was living anymore.
Singh says many women can't access the care they need, waiting years to get surgery.
We have the education, we have the skill set, we have the technology. What we don't have is access to surgery time and the resources. You're going to end up helping more women by sharing your story than I could ever help.
Fleury hoping to return as a first-grade teacher in the new year and show others there is always hope.
There is the right surgeon, the right doctor for you. It's really important to never give up and that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
A family on Prince Edward Island have created an annual tradition supporting people experiencing homelessness during the holidays. As Maria Saru reports, it comes from a place of personal connection.
In Andrea Donaldson's living room, the holiday season starts with stuffing stockings full of necessities. They won't hang in her house. Instead, they'll be handed out to people who are homeless. Donaldson's been doing this for 7 years, inspired by her own personal experience.
This lady, she was giving out stockings to the unhoused. I was one of the recipients, and that always stuck with me. It made me feel like, loved and unforgotten.
Now, that's how she wants others to feel.
Gloves, pets.
And her children play a big part. Donaldson says it teaches them to love others, and the kids say they have other reasons too.
Because she's my prettiest mama.
Like other families across the country, this Christmas will be smaller at the Donaldsons' house with fewer gifts under the tree.
I had to actually, tell them, this year's going to look a little different, but they still have gifts, so.
But there are many more stockings, with at least 50 going out this year, thanks to families, businesses, and organizations that donated, like the Village in Summerside.
There's a high risk involved with sleeping outside during the winter months, obviously. We've seen a lot of frostbite situations happen. We've seen people's health decline rapidly.
The stockings are filled with hand warmers, hats, hygienic products, treats, and much more. The stockings will be distributed around Christmas Day across Montague and Charlottetown, with whatever's left over dropped off at homes across the island. Maria Sru, CTV News, Murray Harbour.
A photographer in Edmonton is giving seniors a chance to channel their inner model. Manisa has more on the impact a single session can have and the confidence boost that comes with it.
So you're going to go like this and you're going to go, oh my God.
With a little coaching, Magdalena Barry gets her shot.
Great. All right, we got that looked up going down.
This photo shoot is part of Barry's Timeless Tales by Mag series.
I celebrate vibrant seniors over the age of 80. I feel that they have a lot to say. They want to be seen, heard.
Barry meets with the seniors at their homes. She gets to know them before capturing them on camera.
Sometimes I think I enjoy the process more than they do. I just love seeing them come alive.
For Del Dilkey, getting to glam up is something she enjoys.
But I'm just Del, and I just love being myself.
The 95-year-old is celebrating her birthday with a photo shoot.
I don't think I'm nervous or anything. I just do what they tell me to.
Dilkey and Barry met at a women's event and became friends shortly after. Barry says Dilkey shines, both on the outside and inside.
It's her attitude that brings her longevity. And that's what I want to tell the world, too. Look at this lady. She's connected. She's got this wonderful personality. And so people want to be around her. Look at me. Oh, I love it.
Barry says giving seniors a chance to come out of their shell and pretend they are a model for a day is a rewarding experience.
But I've had clients in here where they do come in a little bit stiff, even though they've known me for quite a while now. And then they start doing the Vogue poses because they realize this is fun.
Barry wants these seniors to see the beauty in themselves.
And I do it. I don't know how good I am, but I'm really enjoying it.
To show that age is just a number and that being fabulous is timeless. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
What a year it's been for KP's Rescue 975. Thanks to the incredible efforts of Animal Alert and Happy's Place and the support of our amazing viewers, over 30 lovable pups have found their forever homes. Meeting these furry friends and helping them start a new chapter has been truly rewarding. A special thank you to London's Airport Kia for making every arrival stylish and joyful. To everyone who shared, commented, and opened their hearts to adoption, you made this possible. We're excited to do it all again in 2026. Stay tuned for more wagging tails and happy stories.
The CTV News weather snapshot of the day is brought to you by our friends at Auburn Group's Magic of Lights, on now until January the 4th. Thanks to Gregor Reed for this image. Beautiful colors there, Gregor. Thanks for sharing it. Expect some cloudy and windy conditions tonight with a slight chance of showers and colder through the overnight, but we could very well see a green Christmas, a mixture of sun and cloud and temperatures above seasonal as we head towards Thursday.
U.S. Justice Department officials released new documents related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein today, roughly 30,000 pages. As Abigail Beeman reports, much of the documents are heavily redacted, but there are still glimpses of the world Epstein lived in and who else was in it.
Another deluge of documents about sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, including an email saying U.S. President Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously reported. The trove includes a disturbing letter purported to be written by Epstein to Larry Nassar in prison, the U.S. Olympics gymnastic team doctor convicted of sexual abuse, reading in part, "Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope they reach their full potential. And our president also shares our love of young nubile girls, and life is unfair." The letter doesn't mention Trump by name, and CTV News has not confirmed whether it is authentic. Late Tuesday, the Department of Justice said the FBI confirmed the letter is fake after flagging discrepancies such as a postmark from Virginia and not New York, where Epstein was jailed. Haley Robson is an Epstein abuse survivor and former Trump supporter.
I would love to see number 47 get impeached over this.
The Department of Justice posted this controversial message. Some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against the president, but doesn't mention specifics.
It's troubling, to say the least. The statement now from the DOJ being on the defensive when it was really their job to release these documents, their job to properly redact victims' names that they completely failed to do.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
The slow leak of heavily redacted information has been criticized by both Epstein victims and lawmakers. The scandal continues to plague the president and Republicans ahead of the midterm elections in 2026. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A national support program has taken root in the Windsor area, helping veterans with life after service. As Sanjay Maru reports, it's a place where participants can talk openly about memories, trauma, and the civilian transition.
Because of my stature, I'm supposed to be the big, strong one. And I mean, I have issues too, I'm not gonna lie.
We all do.
For many who served, whether decades ago or more recently, talking about what they lived through hasn't always come easy. But inside this Legion Hall, those stories are finally being shared.
Because you've dedicated your life to service, but we also need to take care of ourselves.
This is Buddy Check, a peer-run support group, a space designed by military veterans for military veterans, with guidance from a psychologist recognized by Veterans Affairs Canada. Among those veterans is one whose military career ended after she was medically repatriated from Afghanistan, diagnosed with multiple sclerosis that began developing while deployed.
I started unpacking some of my experiences and realized that I was carrying around quite a lot.
She says the program has helped her process both the trauma of service and the sudden loss of the career she planned to build.
It's been very helpful, and people from all different generations and all different types of service have common experiences.
Any soldier can be brave at any given time. You react one way to one situation, you come across the same situation a couple days later, you're going to react totally different. It all depends on your mental state. It could even depend on what you ate that day.
Each month, participants meet for coffee and conversation, sometimes lighthearted stories from their time in uniform, and other times the first steps toward acknowledging trauma buried for years.
Cuban Missile Crisis, when you know you're sailing out there and you're out at sea, you're all alone, and you know what's underneath you. I'm sure if that would have broken out, I wouldn't be doing this interview right now.
It progresses. People will start telling their fun stories. We have laughs about things they did in the service, and then once they get to know us, then they say, well, you know, I had to hit a kid who was trying to hurt my crew.
About a dozen local veterans attend here at the Tecumseh Legion regularly, with more joining as word about the program spreads.
I hope I'm helping the people, and certainly helping me get a better first-hand understanding of what they went through.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Welcome back. Some residents at the UK's largest zoo got an early Christmas treat. Several animals at the Whipsnade Zoo north of London enjoyed the festive offerings, these two lynx among them. It was up to the cats to figure out how to unwrap them. Zookeepers say there won't be enough to go around for every animal at the zoo, seeing as they care for more than 11,000 residents, many of which are endangered in the wild. And finally tonight, an Ottawa woman sharing the wealth. She says she's gone from rock bottom to a $70 million jackpot. And as Leah LaRocque reports, she has little interest in keeping it all for herself.
I'm here to present you with a Christmas gift today. Really? I am.
An unexpected act of generosity on a trip to the grocery store.
My goodness, I don't believe it.
leaving Fred Warnell speechless and in tears.
Don't cry, love, don't cry, because you'll make me cry, and I'm ugly when I cry.
Patty Warden giving out more than $20,000 in grocery gift cards. A small act of paying it forward, she says, after becoming a multi-millionaire.
Congratulations, Patty.
Last May, Warden won the $70 million Lotto Max.
Since winning $70 million, Patty has been giving a lot of it away to people in need in the best ways she knows how. She says it's because she knows firsthand what it's like to go without.
Some traumatic things happened to me. Then it turned out I had cancer. And then when I got better, instead of being smart and picking up my life where it left off, I ended up downtown on drugs. I was homeless for some time, sleeping on a park bench. And with coffee, you always need a ton of sugar.
After building her life back, the mother of 4 says the money was life-changing.
It's changing the aspect of being able to do more for others, but for my personal self, hasn't changed at all. And today you got a $300 gift card to help with Christmas dinner.
What?
Yes.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Which is why when Warden heard that many families couldn't afford to put Christmas dinner on the table this year, she wanted to do something.
She's always been like this, so I'm not surprised, but I think she's incredible for doing it.
And there was one more surprise for Warnell. He had no idea the gift card was for $300.
My goodness gracious, I don't believe it. I'm lost.
A moment Warden says is priceless.
I want the world to be happy, that's all. I'm just trying to share my happiness.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.